We've got breaking news into Texas Tech men's basketball as West Virginia guard Joe Toussaint has officially committed to play for Texas Tech in Grant McCasland. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I am RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. If you want more Texas Tech men's basketball breaking news videos as soon as it happens, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button to stay in the know on Texas Tech men's basketball all year long right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel. All right, let's get into this as, again, Texas Tech has landed transfer guard Joe Toussaint, and as it stands right now, that's the last scholarship Texas Tech has. So we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. But let's run through a scouting report for the newest Red Raider and the newest member of Grant McCasland's first-year squad. Okay, 6-foot guard, long. It's about 6'3" wingspan, but he's a proven power 6 commodity. Played last year at West Virginia, 9.4 points, 2.8 rebounds, 2.6 assists, and shot about 33% from 3 last season. He entered the portal from West Virginia due to the stuff that's going on with Bob Huggins in West Virginia. He's not the only one that's entered the portal there in Morgantown, but he's 6'6", but really when I watch the tape, he plays bigger than that, specifically on the perimeter. He's a physical guard that knows how to finish at the rim, 50% percentage field goal at the rim right there, and 24% of his shots came there. So again, let me be a little bit more clear on that. 50% field goal percentage at the rim, 24% of his shots are coming there, a fourth of his shots, and he's 6 foot. He gets to the rim and he can finish with either hand and has soft touch around there as well. Listen, the three-point percentage doesn't show the whole story when it comes down to it. Again, 32.7% from 3, but I thought he was a better catch-and-shoot guy than that, and the numbers back it up a little bit as well. Solid catch-and-shoot guy in transition and in the half-court setting. Actually shot 54% in terms of the effective field goal percentage on catch-and-shoot opportunities. That ranks 73rd percentile in the country last year. Really likes to go left on the side of the floor. Really solid passer as well. Had a 24% passer rate last year, or assist rate, I should say, at West Virginia. And I think, again, the biggest thing that we've seen from guys that have committed to Texas Tech in this offseason going into year one of Grant McCasland, can you play in the pick and roll? Joe Toussaint can do that. He is a solid pick and roll player. Now, defensively, he's got active hands that create turnovers. He's got a 2.2% steal rate last season at West Virginia. I forgot to mention this a little bit earlier. He did transfer into West Virginia last season from Iowa, but he is instantly eligible for Texas Tech because he is a grad transfer, right? He's physical enough to guard 1 through 3. I feel better about him guarding 1 through 2, just the 1 and 2 spots. But his size, he's bulky, and he's active, and he's pesky. I think that's a compliment, by the way, when it comes to Joe Toussaint. He's that New York prototypical physical guard, and it's not surprising since he's from the Bronx. Overall, I like Joe Toussaint. I think he is a solid addition for the Texas Tech backcourt that I think is going to run quite a bit in year one of Grant McCasland, and that would make sense considering what you have in the front court, right? You got Warren Washington, you got Robert Jennings, you got Lindsey, you've got Darion Williams, you've got Cambridge as well, who is listed as a guard, but he plays a little bit bigger than his 6'6" that he's listed on the website, right? So they've got some solid pieces there in the front court. I think they're going to attack it, and they're going to go quick, and Joe Toussaint loves to get out in transition, and he can be a ball handler, which allows Chance to go on one side, Pop to go on the other, and just jack up shots and get into space and do what those two do well. So, again, I think he's going to be a solid addition for Texas Tech, right? But I want you to tell me, again, just by simply liking the video, are you excited to see Texas Tech land the commitment of Joe Toussaint? All you got to do is simply like the video. That's all I'm asking you to do, people. Like the video. And if you haven't already, again, I gave my spiel at the very beginning, but nobody's given you this quick of news and breakdowns and scouting reports of guys that just committed to Texas Tech. Nobody else is doing it. So be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay in the know right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel. You know what I was going to say. I had to wait for it a little bit. All right, again, let's look at the current roster and how it looks right now for the Red Raiders. Because, again, this is the last scholarship that was open for Texas Tech. And you think about how this came to be. Joe Toussaint moved visits around, was going to go to K-State earlier in the week. Instead, goes to Texas Tech early on in the week and commits to Grant McCasland. This is your roster right now as it stands in terms of scholarships going into year one of Grant McCasland in the 2023-2024 Texas Tech men's basketball season. You've got Isaacs, Lindsey, Jennings, Walton, Damarian Williams, Lamar Washington, Chance McMillan, Darian Williams, Warren Washington, Ameli Ylahu, Drew Steffi, Devin Cambridge, and Joe Toussaint. That's it. Those are your scholarship players if you're Texas Tech. And now, with that coming into play, I want to answer this, but also ask y'all this as well. Give me your one word to describe Texas Tech in the 2023-2024 men's basketball roster that I just presented to you. Obviously, things can change, but again, that's your last scholarship right there. You got, I believe, Francis as a walk-on guy, so you got 14 guys on the roster, but those are your 13 scholarship players with the addition of Joe Toussaint. For me personally, again, looking at this, I actually like it. And the reason being is this. I know there's going to be people in the comments, even probably before they hear this part of the video, that say, RC, they don't have enough height. There's not enough guys in the front court. They needed a center. They needed a guy that was over 6'9", this, that, and the other about a front court player. Well, I agree somewhat. If Texas Tech is going to do what I think they're going to do and what I've heard they're going to do and what they've been implementing at practice, they're going to run and run a lot. They're going to get out in transition. And I like what they have and what they really balanced and predicated their whole roster on in terms of their guards, right? Pop Isaac's your best player. No one's going to debate that, right? I think Chance McMillan is going to be a really, really solid piece for Texas Tech in terms of what he can do in open space, right? Joe Toussaint has played in one of the best conferences in America, technically two of them, in the Big Ten and obviously the Big 12 at West Virginia, right? You also got Warren Washington. You got Cambridge. They added guys that have Power 6 experience and that are proven to be successes in the Power 6, right? Now you have 4 guys instead of 2. Just a week ago, you only had 2 guys that were proven at a high level to play significant minutes in the Power 6, right? Now you have 4. You've got Pop, you've got Toussaint, you've got Cambridge, and you've got Warren Washington, right? You feel a little bit better about this roster. Now, again, we're going to have to see just exactly how much they do run. Does the lack of, guys over 6'10", only having one of them, impact Texas Tech? I'll go ahead and say on June 20, in late June, right? I would probably say it doesn't, because I really think when you look at what's going on in the Big 12, there's really only a handful tops of impact bigs, and you've got one if you're Texas Tech. So I like the idea of spacing. I like the idea of potentially playing 4 out and 1 in, and that 1 being Warren Washington, that 1 being Robert Jennings, that 1 being Lindsey, right? Like, I'm cool with that. And I actually like the idea of Kyron Lindsey being the center at some points when you want to run out and get in transition. Like, I'm thinking about lineups that have Joe Toussaint, Pop Isaacs, Chance McMillan, and then you've got Cambridge and Lindsey out there as well. So when you look at what Texas Tech has on their roster, again, I can understand the idea that, hey, they need a little bit more height. But this roster, in terms of what it looked like a little earlier, I don't know if it could have gone any better for Texas Tech, maybe outside of, Arthur Kaluma, right? But that's in the past now, right? You've got 2 guys in the past couple of days in Devin Cambridge and Joe Toussaint that really add some experience to your team, that have played in the Power 6, that really fit what you were trying to do and really kind of what you needed almost in a way. Again, Joe Toussaint can hide some of those flaws defensively that maybe Chance McMillan brings, Pop Isaacs brings, whatever it may be, and he can allow them to play off the ball as well and create space, off-ball screens and everything like that for Pop and Chance and guys to run around and really create as much space as possible offensively. So again, breaking news for Texas Tech, West Virginia guard transfer Joe Toussaint has committed to the Scarlet and Black. I want you to like the video if you were excited to see Joe Toussaint declare, his commitment to Texas Tech. And also, give me your one word to describe the Texas Tech 2023-2024 men's basketball roster. Again, this was the last scholarship they had. Things can obviously change, but this is what it looks like it could potentially be going into year 1 of Grant McCasland. I am RC Maxfield, reminding you, if you want the latest breaking news and rumors when it comes to Texas Tech men's basketball, right when they happen, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button to stay in the know right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel.